Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
I am so glad that we are back with some dumb criminals because we are doing a double recording today. And the last thing we talked about was so messed up that we really needed to lighten the mood for ourselves and y'all. So I'm really glad that we're back with Dumb Criminals. And this is the first Dumb Criminals episode of 2024. Yes, I know it's September. We don't need to talk about that. Okay, we're here and we're doing it now. It's fine. So let's just enjoy ourselves. Okay.
That's why we do this. That's why we break it up, because we need a little dopamine from the dumbasses every now and then.
Exactly.
Before we get started, here's our riddle for the day. Did you miss these? I did. Who shot her? Cried a man as he rushed into the hospital searching for his wife. The man was stopped by police, who asked him where he had been the night before. The man said he had stayed the night at a friend's house, and when he called to check on his wife, the maid answered the call and just told him that his wife had been taken to the hospital. So upon hearing this, he raced to the hospital as fast as he could. The police immediately arrest the husband after hearing this. Why? Stay tuned to the end to find out the answer. And by the look on Gina's face, I think she might have gotten it, folks.
I think I actually know what the answer to this one is. For the first time ever, maybe.
We shall see.
Oh my God, that would be pretty dope if I actually knew what it was. Okay, for our first dumb criminal, drum roll please. In 2021, in Las Vegas, Nevada, 32-year-old Randall Wallace was found shot to death in an apartment complex. And according to the police, he had been in an argument with 3 unidentified suspects. Fast forward to July 19th, 2023, rapper Kenwan McDaniel released a song titled Fady Free to his YouTube channel, The Biggest Fin 4800. A detective found the video shortly after and noticed some very interesting things. In the music video, it showed McDaniel and his homies acting out movements that the police said were, quote, consistent with evidence at the scene, end quote. It didn't help that McDaniel confessed to the murder in his lyrics. I think I heard about this one. I mean, rappers describe stuff like this frequently in their songs. But what set the whole situation with McDaniel and Randall Wallace apart was the fact that in his lyrics, McDaniel described information from the incident that the police had never released to the public, meaning the only way this dude would have had this information is if he were there. I won't even attempt at reading some of the lyrics in question here, but let's suffice it to say that at one point, McDaniel referred to a nickname that was Wallace's and even described Wallace's body after the shooting. What a stand-up guy. Kenwan McDaniel was arrested on August 29th, 2023, and charged with open murder. Wait, what is open murder?
I don't know.
Open murder? I've never heard that before.
An open murder charge is a general allegation of murder that prosecutors often use in Nevada. It includes all offenses related to murder, such as first and second degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, and involuntary manslaughter.
Interesting.
The more you know.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so this guy's a dumbass.
He confessed to literal murder in a music video he uploaded to YouTube, and that's what landed his ass in jail. Good job.
Did he really not think that police were going to see this, or somebody else was going to see this and send it to somebody and be like,
The whole point of uploading things on YouTube is to get exposure, to become famous. Up next on our list, our very first Florida man. 41-year-old Johnny Yates was wanted by the Polk County Sheriff's Office on aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and tampering charges. Off to a great start here. I think I'm going to let the Polk County Sheriff's Office Facebook page post from October 17th, 2023 do the talking for this one. Quote, "One of the worst things about being a cop is you always have to be open to the possibility that people are going to lie to you, no matter how sweet and innocent they seem." On Saturday, October 14th, at around 2:45 p.m., PCSO deputies went to a residence on West 10th Street in Lakeland after receiving a tip that a wanted person was at the residence. The wanted person was 41-year-old Johnny Yates, and he was wanted for aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and tampering in a second-degree felony. When the deputies arrived, they noticed a note written on a dry erase board in front of a window that said, quote, "Johnny Yates does not live here." End quote. Gee, a dry erase board never lied to us before. Should we believe it? A person was then seen leaving the house, so the deputies asked that person about Johnny, and they were told that he was inside the house with a few others. The deputies surrounded the house and began calling out via a loudspeaker. This went on for about an hour, with nobody inside responding. Enough was enough, and the surrender smoke was dispensed inside the house, and 4 people exited the home. But no Johnny. Deputies called out some more, but still no response from Johnny, so a second helping of surrender smoke was put inside the home to waft around a bit. Yet, still no response from Johnny. Finally, deputies and Canine Dexter entered the house and located Johnny, who was hiding in a modified chest of drawers.
Wow.
Johnny was arrested and taken to jail. In regards to the 4 people who weren't cooperating with deputies, each one received a parting gift, a charge of resisting and an all-expense-paid trip to Grady Judd's bed and breakfast. End quote. They also really nailed their hashtag game too, with a couple of my faves being hashtag, "It's getting so you can't even trust a dry erase board anymore." Hashtag, "We all have junk drawers, but who among us keeps felons in their drawers?" And hashtag, "It was really believable," with 2 exclamation points and with not in all caps and underlined. Like, I have a picture of, it's just a plain white small dry erase board in blue dry erase marker. "Johnny Yates does not," all caps, "live here." And, the exclamation marks, like, totally believe you, dude.
Definitely doesn't live here. If he lived here, why would anybody even know to write that on a dry erase board?
Yeah. So, Florida, you never disappoint.
That sounds like something a child would do, trying to lie about something that was really obvious.
Most of these dumb criminals have the IQ of a toddler anyway, so.
You are so true for that. So, yeah. Okay. So, for our next one, we're heading up to Alaska. And this one is a little bit of a 2-parter, and you'll see why. Back in 2018, Michael Gale Nash was taken into police custody in Anchorage just mere moments after leaving the First National Bank, Alaska, with $400 in a bag. How, you might ask, did the police manage to do this so quickly? Well, for starters, Nash had entered the bank with a large backpack and a note that read, quote, "This is a holdup. Please put the money they want in the bag. God help us." End quote. Probably a good time for me to add that this particular piece of paper wasn't your average blank note writing variety. The note was scribbled on the back of a form for affordable housing in the U.S. that also contained Nash's personal information on it. Nice one, buddy. But wait, it gets better. So Nash handed over the note for the money along with his real name and birth date. But when the police arrived on the scene, this dude was sitting outside of the bank he had just robbed, counting the cash. Wow. No weapons were used in the robbery, and he was detained peacefully. Nash had prior convictions for stealing personal property back in 1993, forgery in 2000, and to top it off, he also received a court-martial in 1996 for distributing drugs. He had been sentenced to 366-day prison term followed by 5 years of supervised release. Now, let's fast forward to October 2nd, 2023. Oh, God. Same bank, same man. Nash sauntered up to the First National Bank in Anchorage around 9 o'clock a.m. and began yanking on the front doors. The employees inside told him that the bank didn't open up for another hour. But Nash wasn't giving up easily. Decked out in black jeans, black boots, and a black Carhartt jacket, and a black hat, he passed a note through the locked doors to the supervisor. "This is a robbery. Put the money in the bag, and I will walk out. This is a robbery. God help us all." Why does he keep writing God help us all on these things? Like, you're the one committing the robbery. Oh my God. That's what the note read according to the arrest affidavit. Well, upon receiving this lovely note from Nash, the bank supervisor yelled for the bank door to be locked with a secondary locking mechanism and called 911. Wouldn't you know, though, Nash remained outside the front of the bank until his ride showed up and he was apprehended peacefully again. Although this particular heist wasn't as profitable as his original one, at least this time when Nash handed over a note, he didn't include his name and birth date. For this stunt, though, he could face up to 20 years in prison.
What do you say to that?
Do you never learn? Like, at least get better. You know? Like, if this is going to be your shtick, great. But, like, everyone should improve in their skill set. Like, you already got caught at this bank once. Don't go back.
This clearly is not in his skill set. Maybe get a new hobby.
And if they're not going to let you in, don't just sit there. What do you think is going to happen? I don't feel like this guy has all of his ducks in a row, if you know. Like, something is off here.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, my God. Well, I hope he gets those 20 years because I don't think he's going to get any better. So maybe at least in prison, he can learn a new hobby.
Yeah, there's always hope.
I don't know. Maybe. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, Colorado, we're coming for you next. Back in December 2023, the Wheat Ridge Police Department responded to a burglary call from a plumbing store owner after he had noticed a hole cut in the business fencing and saw on surveillance the thief inside. When the police arrived at the scene, they noticed an Uber driver waiting nearby and told the cops that his passenger, Jose, was heading right toward the car. A man wearing a black sweatshirt with the hood pulled up approached them, and officers asked if he was looking for an Uber. This clearly made the dude nervous as he shot his hands into his pockets and began avoiding eye contact. He stammers out and tries to back away, giving the officers the name Raul. Officers wasted no time in grabbing him, and Raul assures them he is not trying to make a break for it, and says that he was just on his way to his mother's house. Even after the police tell him that he matches the description of the thief they are looking for, he still maintains his innocence, even though he's not carrying proper identification to show his name is in fact Raul. Did I also mention he was carrying a backpack? Yeah, well, when the police start searching said backpack, the whole charade comes tumbling down. On the body cam footage, an officer can be heard saying, "This backpack is full of Milwaukee tools." Lo and behold, the cops found a whopping $8,600 worth of electric tools stored in the backpack. When taken into custody, fingerprints confirmed the true identity of the man in question. Wheat Ridge police later went on social media stating, quote, "It may not have been the best idea to have an Uber pick you up at the crime scene." End quote. 26-year-old Jose was booked the following day on a bunch of charges, including theft of more than $2,000, criminal trespassing, and false reporting to authorities, according to court documents. I mean, at least he didn't use a wheelchair like a previous dumbass criminal we've talked about did. I mean, an Uber is a step up from a wheelchair.
That's true. I forgot about the wheelchair. Yeah. But still, like, you're going to call an Uber, you have to give them your actual information for them to come pick you up.
Yeah.
Who are you going to believe? The Uber driver picking up the person saying, oh, this person's name is whatever, or the person holding a backpack full of thousands of dollars worth
missing tools from, yeah.
Get your own getaway car. Or, I don't know, ride a bike. Or
maybe not steal, just
throw
just
that
out there.
Just don't. Wow. Man. Stalking, burglary, and furniture rearranging? Oh my. 38-year-old Jacob Smart was named as a man Idaho police had been hunting over a span of several months between August and October of 2023 for a string of burglaries in Boise. Smart was caught on multiple surveillance videos just nonchalantly walking into his victims' properties, even stopping to pet the homeowner's dog at one place while it followed him around the yard. I mean, I would do the same thing, but you know. He forced his way into the home several times by just kicking down the doors, according to the footage. Once inside the homes, he would loot for debit and credit cards, weapons, underwear, and more. I really wish I knew more about this, but apparently at least one time he even did some redecorating, like moving some personal items around the home. Maybe he didn't feel like it was feng shui, or what is it called?
Feng shui.
Feng shui. Like, he was like, no, this feels weird.
This needs to be facing east. This needs to go west.
That mirror really shouldn't be pointed towards this. You shouldn't have two mirrors facing each other. It's a portal. You just shouldn't do these things. Okay. In one burglary, Smart entered the home while the victims were asleep, stole house keys, and was caught on footage later attempting to re-enter the house. But thankfully, the victims had already changed the locks. Yikes. Was he going to rearrange more furniture? Maybe. Look. Multiple stolen goods were recovered when the police picked him up in Oregon, but somehow he was able to flee from the cops when they were attempting to place him under arrest. He was on the run for some time, even with a $500,000 nationwide extraditable warrant. Wow. Put out on him, and had been considered armed and dangerous. He was spotted in Washington, where a search led police to a building and evacuated it. During this time, they received a phone call from Smart threatening to kill officers and that he wouldn't be taken alive. The police used a robot, chemicals, and canines, and he was finally taken into custody and treated for minor injuries. Guess his rearranging days are over with. And ladies, your underwear is safe. But he could still try rearranging the prison. You never know. The cell, the common areas. But aren't those all like tied down?
Yeah, they're not really
They're
movable.
bolted down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to be giving him any throw pillows. So.
No, his feng shui days are over.
You serious about redecorating other people's houses to go down at a fight like that?
Just weird.
Is so weird. So weird.
Okay. I think at this point in 2024, it is painfully obvious that almost everyone in this entire universe has a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Phones that are capable of capturing decently clear video footage of any sort of shenanigans they encounter. I mean, that's how a lot of people make their money.
Yep.
I am pretty sure that this next batch of hooligans possibly forgot this bit of information. I don't know. In Oakland, California, a bystander in disbelief captured footage of a group of thieves when they yanked out an entire bank ATM out of the ground, hooked it up to the back of a van, and sped down the road, sending sparks into the air. The witness told police that he saw at least 3 or 4 people involved in using tools to rip out the ATM before they sped away. Another ATM had been stolen about an hour earlier from a nearby business. The police were able to apprehend and arrest one of the suspects the same day, but were still searching for the others involved. I don't know, but if you're going to commit a crime, aren't you trying to be as inconspicuous as possible?
Mm-hmm.
A giant ATM machine attached to the back of a speeding vehicle, sending sparks everywhere, is certain to gain a lot of attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And wouldn't you think that there would be security cameras as well?
They clearly woke up and chose stupid that day.
Hey guys, let's go rob some ATMs. There's definitely not going to be anybody around in the public space we're at, and no security cameras or anybody that might want to record our dumbasses while we do this. Definitely not.
Yep.
Oh, and they probably definitely won't record our license plate as we drive away with this thing attached to the back of it. All of these people deserve to be caught. It's been a while since we've said it, but drugs are bad, okay? As evident in our next story, drugs just really lead to a series of poor life choices. Sarah Harris dialed the police not once, but twice back in January to complain that she had been supplied with a bad baggie of meth. She told the cops that the batch she had received was, quote, not what it was supposed to be, end quote. Oh, it gets better. When the cops came out, she allegedly handed the drugs over to the cops at her home in hopes they would test their authenticity. She explained to the police that the bad meth left her feeling as though she was having a heart attack, and further admitted that she had snorted a line of the substance and felt, quote, something different when it touched her skin and nostrils, end quote. Although she was willing to admit her less than stellar activities, as long as it meant her dealer would be held accountable, saying she wanted to turn the person in. However, for her absolute honesty, she was slapped with possession of meth charge, which happens to be a felony that carries a maximum 30-month prison sentence. I mean, her heart was in the right place. Not wanting the sketchy dealer to mess with anyone else, which, cool.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Also, she called the cops on herself. They're not going to let you get away with possession of meth because you're trying to turn in someone else.
Yep. I wonder if that was her thought process. Hey, I'm going to give this to you and you can go catch the bad guy and then I'll go on my merry way.
And continue having meth in my possession. No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's
not how that works. But hopefully this was a big learning experience for her and maybe she got clean.
Maybe.
We can hope that it had at least a somewhat decent ending for her sake. Yep. And hopefully the dealer did get caught, because who knows what they could have been giving people. They could have ended up very badly, and it could have ended up worse for her.
Exactly.
So she's lucky she was there to tell them about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, drugs are bad.
Oh, dear. Okay, we're back to Florida for this one. And I don't have words. This isn't just Florida man we're dealing with. It's Florida man and Florida woman.
Ooh.
Listen, we're all struggling in the moolah department these days, but I can honestly say the next shenanigans never even potentially crossed my mind. Kira Enders and her boyfriend, Dakota Jones, decided that they were going to try to rig lottery officials into giving them a $1 million prize. How? With 2 torn scratch-off tickets spliced together to form a winning ticket. Again, I ask, how? How on earth were they expecting to get away with that? I don't play the lottery, but without even learning more, I know that that is just not going to work. According to a police report, the 2 tickets were ripped horizontally, with the top half of one ticket and the bottom half of another, and then carefully pieced together to show the $1 million prize winner. Of course, it didn't work. They failed to check the serial numbers of the 2 different scratch-offs. So they submitted the winning ticket and drove to meet with a lottery agent to follow up about the possible winnings. And instead of being handed a check, the pair was quickly taken into custody and questioned separately. Oh dear, I can't make this up. Enders allegedly claimed that the ticket had fallen out of her car and got rained on, and she tried to scratch it before it dried and was forced to tape it together to keep it from getting ruined further. And after being confronted, she allegedly said, "What? They don't go together?" And then argued the ticket wasn't taped the right way. Jones, her boyfriend, told the same lottery agent that the couple found two halves of a wet ticket walking down the road. He said once scratched, the ticket said $1 million, and he was like, no freaking way. He also said that he doesn't know what Enders told them, but that was the truth. They can't even lie together. They were arrested and charged with forgery, alteration of a lottery ticket with intent to defraud, passing a forged altered state lottery ticket, and larceny. Grand theft of $100,000 or more.
Yikes. That is quite the charge for taping two lottery tickets together.
Their intention was trying to get $1 million, so.
So, how... I guess my question is, where was this winning part from? Or were they trying to make it look like it matched up? It was probably like a matching kind of thing or something.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is the numbers that they needed to match on the top didn't match on their ticket, so they found another ticket that had those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Or images.
Something
or
to that effect.
Whatever the hell, yeah.
You can't just tape two things together and be like, look, I won.
I mean, A for effort.
But no, wow.
D for dumbass.
Police in Kentucky responded to a call of a man passed out behind the wheel in a parking lot of a video store in Kentucky. 43-year-old David Ratliff was the man in question, and when police arrived on the scene and did the whole spiel of asking him for his identification, he whipped out more than what the cops had expected. According to the Clay County Sheriff's Office, Ratliff whipped out a, quote, baggie of meth, pills, and a large sum of U.S. currency, end quote. Yeah, definitely not what the cops were expecting. At the end of it all, he was found with meth, fentanyl, oh man, and over $3,000 in cash that landed him charges of trafficking and a controlled substance and public intoxication. Like, dude, all they did was ask for your ID. Why'd you give it all away?
Because drugs are bad.
Because,
drugs are bad. That's all you can say about that. Just drugs are
I'm
bad.
not saying that. I'm not saying that DARE was a good program or that it worked, but can we
showing your age there, buddy?
I know, but like maybe South Park can help us all. Could we start like a drugs are bad MK outreach
program? Something
program, make it funny and entertaining, and maybe it'll get the point across better.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. If you do them, you're bad because drugs are bad. Okay, it's a bad thing to do drugs, so don't be bad by doing drugs. Okay, that'd be bad. The drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, this next one has unlocked a new fear. Especially with a toddler in the throes of potty training. Send help, by the way. So, a mother and her 4-year-old daughter were at Dairyfield Park in New Hampshire when she was allegedly seen in an argument with 18-year-old Aiden Studer. She was then seen entering the porta potty with her daughter. Then, oh God, Studer went around to the back of the porta potty and pushed it from behind, causing it to topple over on top of the door with the mother and daughter trapped inside. Oh, God. Thankfully, the pair wasn't stuck in the feces-covered nightmare box for long, as bystanders rushed over and to help them out.
Yeah.
When the police arrived on the scene, Studer allegedly threw an unknown object at them before he was finally arrested and charged with 2 counts of criminal restraint and criminal mischief, as well as simple assault on an officer. Oh my God, can you imagine being stuck in there with the smell and filth because a teenager had a temper tantrum over something? Nope. No, thank you. No. I mean, thankfully, the whole thing didn't escalate to something much more dangerous or,
Yeah.
But that poor mother and toddler will likely be scarred for life and will likely never go into another porta potty.
No.
I don't think I'd ever leave my house again.
What the hell were they arguing about?
And why?
I need more information. Why did this dude think it was okay to, I mean, it's bad enough to do it to a grown woman, but a 4-year-old child?
Yeah.
That is awful. Like, this is more than just some dumbassery. Like, that is serious. She was brave enough to go into that porta potty by herself, let alone with a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I would never go anywhere again. And I definitely would never use a public restroom of any kind again.
No.
Oh my God.
Because a dumbass teenager had a temper tantrum.
I really want more information.
Oh, I know. Me too. Like, what would have prompted him to get his panties such in a bunch that he trapped them in a nightmare feces box?
And then threw something at the what did he? What?
Unknown object. Just that's all it said. Unknown object.
What a baby.
Complete temper tantrum from start to finish.
Oh God, that poor woman and child.
Yep.
God, I would burn all of those clothes.
Oh, yes.
No, I would never feel clean again. That would be it. My life would just end right then.
I'm done.
Nope.
That's it.
Nope. I'm out. Oh. I'm good. You can leave me here. Ew, God, gross.
Yeah, so you can see there was no shortage of dumb over the past year or so.
No, not at all. I don't know. It was good.
I think my favorite, though, is still Jimmy Yates does not live here.
Just definitely not here.
And the police are getting way more active on social media, Facebook and stuff especially, and they're getting real entertaining with their commentary, and so kudos.
But I like it. It makes them more relatable, and I don't know. It's nice for them to share like the stupidity that they have to put up with every day.
Kind of bridges the gap between civilian and police officer. Like, they really are just other people. Granted, some of them are complete douchebags, but not all of them are.
No. Some people are just trying to find Johnny or Jimmy or,
Johnny Yates. Jeez, should we believe a dry erase board?
I don't know. It's not here, man. I guess let's just go to lunch.
That's great. Well, we hoped you enjoyed the return of dumb criminals just as much as we did. For some fun accompanying visuals from today's episode, including the whiteboard in question, be sure to check out our Instagram at Weird True Crime and join our broadcast channel while you're there.
Heck yeah. And TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, all the things.
All of the things.
Just find us at all the things. We're there somewhere in some capacity.
Yeah.
But before we say goodbye, here's the riddle from earlier one more time. Who shot her? Cried a man as he rushed into the hospital searching for his wife. The man was stopped by the police, who asked him where he had been the night before. The man said he had stayed the night at a friend's house, and when he called to check on his wife, the maid answered the call and just told him that his wife had been taken to the hospital. So upon hearing this, he raced to the hospital as fast as he could. The police immediately arrested the husband after hearing this. Why? The answer? How did the husband know his wife was shot if he only talked to the maid and she didn't tell him? Yes!
You got it?
I knew it.
Yay!
Absolutely. Can't just walk in and be like, who shot her? Bro, who said she was shot? That was a good one. I liked it. Did you get it? Let us know. So until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices. Bye.
I mean, rappers describe stuff like this frequency. No. Wow.
You had the first part of it right.
I know. Hingewan McDaniel was arrested on August 2029.